Herman Schrader on the Dirty Mo Media platform from the middle of America in St. Louis, Missouri starts right now.
You look funny when you try to act serious. Herman Schrader.
That's another story. I'm at Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm walking down pit road, and Ricky Craven is sitting down on, the pit road pit wall on the inside.
And he's serious.
And he looks at me and he says, Herman, come here. I walk over to Ricky Craven and he says, that's not going to work. I said, darn it, Ricky. He goes, just be yourself. Quit trying to act serious. I said, well, so I guess my question to you, since you brought it up, it bleeds through that bad when I try to act serious. It's not right.
You just look goofy, goofier. I mean, you don't look serious and you don't look normal. It just doesn't look like you.
Okay. Well, the gig is up. Okay. I'm just me. But when you said that, I thought of Ricky Craven right away because he told me, we can all tell when you're trying to be serious. Yeah. And it's true. I am acting.
And Ricky was serious a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very analytical. And Ricky Craven, he'll even get like a politician who'll put his hands up like this, Kenny. Well, in your case, it'd be a half a finger. It'd be
just like this.
Yeah. For everybody watching on the Dirty Mo podcast, Kenny's got half a thumb. So only half the thumb is sticking up. And it's funny. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, leader. This is the part of the show where we talk about what we did, in the last 3 days. I know that you were up at Indianapolis. What did you do?
We went around and talked to a lot of people that help us with different parts on the race cars and saw all the new stuff that's out and just saw a lot of old friends. It's a big, well, we were only there 2 days, all day Thursday and Friday. It's a big visit. It's really neat, but always new stuff coming out. So did have to order an engine, so I'd be like you. But our friend, ordered engine from Mr. Mullins. So got a new one of those coming and just visited.
So I'm assuming that if you're not careful, this could be like going to Home Depot or Lowe's. You go into the PRI show. Do you have to really restrain yourself because you want everything?
I had a real good list, who I needed to see and what I needed to see them about. So, but yeah, you could. Luckily, you don't buy it there. You can order it there, but you don't pay for it there. So, yeah, it's just what I mean. It's like walking in a candy store, all the really stuff. But I'm at a better candy store right now.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say your background. You are not at Kenny Schrader Racing Incorporated. Where are you right now?
I am at S&S Welding in Greenwood, Nebraska, who built the trickiest dirt car haulers, race car haulers. You guess you could haul pavement cars with them. But most all their business is done with dirt racers, late model and modifieds throughout the country. And they're doing some work on our S&S that we bought from them new in 2009. So
wow,
16 years it's been on the road. We've raced out of it already. They're doing a few little things to it. And I keep looking at a couple new ones because they don't have them in stock. They build, depending on the year, they build 8 to 12 a year. And they go instantly. They're almost a 3-year wait right now. So felt lucky to get in and get some work done.
That S&S or whatever you want to call it, on this show, we're calling it S&S, but call them toter homes, trailers, whatever. But that is a big deal in dirt racing because to me, the sport has changed. You got, for years, you go back to the 70s or 80s, you had some traveling series, but not like they are today. It seems to me with Lucas Oil late models World of Outlaw late models. These guys, Kenny, they're racing all year long. I mean, I don't think you could do it without an S&S, could you?
Well, it's not that. There's so many guys on those series have them, and even like on the USMTS series and stuff. I mean, a lot of them got them, but it's not that. That's still only a smaller percentage of the people that have them. This is it's just somebody wants grandma and grandpa or mom and dad want to be comfortable. So that's right. That's why you got one.
Yeah.
You can race without, but they're pretty nice. But anyway, I keep interrupting you. We're off subject. But I do.
No,
I do have a stupid joke for you because we haven't had jokes in a while.
Okay, hold your joke.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
We're gonna put it. Oh, you want to tell it now?
Oh no, whenever you tell me, Mr. Wallace.
Oh yeah, stop it.
Okay.
Stop it. I want to put the S&S to bed because people talk about those haulers. I love them. I think they're incredible. But people will say, why does the local racer have a big truck and trailer? And I say, well, he's probably married and he's got 2 kids that are under 10 years old and they want to be part of dad's life. So if he wants to buy an S&S so his family can sit in that thing during June and July and it's 100 degrees outside.
Our grandmother.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, okay, you went up to the PRI show. You're at S&S, and now it's my turn. I was on a 7-day cruise. It was in the middle of the Caribbean. I went on Royal Caribbean, which is a great cruise line. We went to Coco Cay, which is a private island, which was a lot of fun. We went to St. Thomas. While we're in St. Thomas, we went to one of the top 20 beaches in the world, which I loved it, called Megan's Bay. What makes it so good is they mix a mean pina colada. You start feeling good. So they mix the pina coladas right. Kenny, they can cheat you on these mixed drinks. They can just not put in much liquor.
I don't ever cheat myself.
I hear you have a friend named Jim.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Jim Beam.
Yeah. Met Jim recently.
Yeah. What was the last time you talked to Jim Beam?
Oh, a
couple nights.
I haven't talked to him for a couple days.
Couple days. Yeah, probably up in PRI. But we had a good time.
When you say one of the world's top 20 beaches,
yeah,
that's like for sand and stuff.
Yeah, really nice sand. I mean, it's like when you're in the ocean, you get a drink and you got about 10 friends and you just go in the ocean. And I mean, it's like carpet, better than carpet on your feet. Like no rocks.
Where's Daytona Beach in there? Does that make top 20? So I think that's the neatest beach I've ever been to. I don't know so much about the beach, but I like Daytona Beach.
I would say what I've learned about beaches is that how much beach do you have? What is the texture of the sand? And yes, Daytona Beach is one of the greatest beaches in the world because there's so much beach. Some places you go, you get about 25 feet of sand and they're like, have fun. So, okay, then I went to St. Martin. But Kenny, I got to tell you something about this cruise. And we will end with my cruise before we get to the NASCAR hot topics. I got to talk about the casino on the cruise ship. I made a little note here. I know that all of us, even all of you that are watching this or listening right now, I know all you racers spend a lot of money. But let me tell you, Kenny, I'm in that casino on the cruise ship at night. Everybody's drinking, everybody's hooting and hollering. And you don't necessarily have to gamble to have fun in the casino. You can watch other people lose their money. It's amazing. So I see these 2 young kids. I guarantee you they're not over 25, but they can just get into the casino. And where these people get their money, isn't that what we always say? Where does that guy get his money? These kids, they were smoking vape, had tattoos all over them, which doesn't mean anything. I'm not profiling. I'm just saying they were smoking vape, nervously, had tattoos all over them, and they were having a good time. But Kenny, they were asking the pit boss in the casino for $5,000 a whack. And they had $500 chips, and they were betting $500 at a time. And they would blow through it, and they'd bet 1,000, 2,000 a hand. And I'm just staring at this, and like, oh, they just went through $5,000, and they say, hey, give me another $5,000. What do you think they do for a living? I watch a guy go through $10,000 like it was butter.
I got no idea. Yeah.
As I say, everybody, respond right here. And you and I always run into the great gamblers. They got that story. I'm going to Vegas. Oh, I always take $25,000 with me. I'm like, okay. Wow. So I witnessed that on the cruise ship. It's amazing. All right. That is what Kenny and I did. And these NASCAR hot topics, Kenny, it's amazing because you and I both thought, okay, it's off season. Things are going to calm down. But I'm going to set you up with this one because we really do like your opinion. You're much more centered than me. So I'm gonna tee it up. I'm gonna give you all the situation. Then I need you to respond. So Jeff Gluck on X. That is where it comes from. It's not me, everybody. It's Jeff Gluck on X. He's reporting on off-season news. This one blew me away. So our buddy Joe Custer that runs Stewart-Haas Racing, we know Joe very well. You and I do. He's like a friend. And Joe Custer.
He's not like a friend. He is a friend.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I think this is a very valid conversation. We know what we're talking about. There's no hearsay. This is truth. Our buddy's getting a little worried, and I'm going to give you I'm going to say it. Here we go. Joe Custer says that they're getting worried that their charters will be worth nothing because here's why. What they did not plan on was 2311 and Front Row. So Stewart-Haas Racing, they were selling their charters to Front Row and 2311. Okay, now 2311 and Front Row are suing NASCAR. And NASCAR is saying, okay, as of right now, 2311 and Front Row did not sign the charter agreement. You do not have charters. The whole time, 2311 and Front Row, they're supposed to be buying these and getting Joe Custer and Stewart-Haas Racing. They're supposed to get them off the hook. Now, Joe Custer, I'm going to read this to you. Okay, here we go, everybody. Per Jeff Gluck on X. Also in the court filing, Stewart-Haas Racing, Joe Custer says NASCAR officials conveyed to me on more than one occasion the charter transfer would be approved promptly once the paperwork was in, and Stewart-Haas Racing acted accordingly by shutting down its team. Stewart-Haas Racing does not have the personnel or resources to keep the team going. So in other words, it's got to shut down. And then he added, Gene Haas added, with each passing day without consummating, whatever that word's, consummating the sales transaction. In other words, with each passing day, we don't sell this. The value of the charter that we owned is likelihood of finding replacement buyers materially diminishes. So my question to you now that I've set you up, NASCAR probably did not see this scenario coming. Other people have sold their charters for $40 million each. Could this be a situation where Gene Haas, Tony Stewart, Joe Custer, they're left empty-handed? What is your opinion?
Well, an opinion. I think it's just fact that they got caught in the crossfire between the 2311 and Front Row and NASCAR. I mean, I can see what NASCAR's thinking is, all right, right now, we have a huge problem with those two teams that are suing us. And those two teams obviously think they have a huge problem with NASCAR right now. And like I say, this is just, what I see. And so it's like, well, we're not going to approve this right now. So so those guys are still got what they got their charter that they didn't sign a charter agreement. I don't know. I think they're definitely caught in a crossfire, and I'm glad that I'm not involved.
Yeah. Well, I'm not expecting you to respond to this, but Tony Stewart has said, uh, listen, we're not involved, everybody, but we're just saying Tony Stewart has said the reason I'm leaving NASCAR, and this is our partner in crime, Tony Stewart. When I say partner in crime, he owned Macon Speedway with us, and now we sold Macon Speedway. But that's what I say when I mean partner. Tony said, "I don't like the way NASCAR's headed," and he claimed that he left because of that. So Tony has responded to all this, and Tony's still owner, so he's waiting for his money to roll in. If 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 Stewart-Haas sells one charter, let's just take a price. Let's lowball it. Let's say Stewart-Haas, Gene Haas, Tony Stewart, these are the owners. If they sell one charter to 2311 or Front Row and they receive $20 million, that sounds like that's a cheap price. Well, Tony's going to get part of that money leaving, going drag racing. So I'm sure Tony's thinking this ain't right. What I got invested in, it's looking uglier by the day. Now, this is my opinion. I don't think NASCAR saw this scenario coming. It's like, we never saw somebody suing us and, we're dealing with charters at the same time. So what I'm hearing from you and what I'm saying is we don't have a solution. But as we say in St. Louis, right here on the Mississippi, there's trouble in River City because it's all being documented and we're reading it. And once again, this has nothing to do with you and I, but we're reading it and it's playing out in real time through NASCAR media.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal because Tony Stewart, and Gene Haas and Joe, they're looking for if you sell 3 charters, they have 4 charters. They're looking at getting rid of 3. Just give them $25 million per charter, whatever you want. We're talking close to $100 million. That's a big pill to swallow. Yeah, 25 million, whatever, 75 million. Yeah. You're better at math than me.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I mean, no, yeah, you're right.
Do you have anything else to say?
No, I said I'm glad I'm not involved. Tony and Gene are the only ones who really know, why they decided to dissolve the team. Maybe Joe, I'm sure, does. But it's just a lot of stuff they all got to work through. And or a judge is going to work through most of it for them.
Yeah, and boy, it's like a for a little bit, Kenny, I just laid off the topic because it was like you could never keep up, and they were just using all these. I see these fancy people out there with all these legal words, and I'm like, look, I'm not into that. Give me the bottom line, and I gave up on it for a while until this came out. But okay, we put that drama to bed.
We didn't put nothing to bed. We're just moving on.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it again one day. Right. Something that happened, and everybody's like, oh, but now that it's wintertime, it is a big deal. But we were ending the year with championships and celebrating Joey Logano. There was a big schedule change in the Cup Series. June 15th of 2025, NASCAR is going back, and that's key because the Xfinity Series ran down at Mexico City at Hermando Rodriguez. Now NASCAR says June 15th, the Cup Series is headed back to Mexico City with the Cup Series at Hermando Rodriguez Road Course. What's your thoughts on that?
It's just where they're going that weekend. I mean, that's going to be a hike. I don't know exactly how they're going to do all the trucks and trailers yet, if they're going to convoy them down there or what they're going to do. Uh, hey, if this our sport is money driven,
Yeah.
as far as what takes money to play it, whether you're the tracks that want to bring the uh, race in, or you're the teams that need sponsorship to go to the races. Uh, if enough sponsors want to go to Mexico, and the tracks willing to pay to go to Mexico, and it's up to the sponsor driven. I mean, TV, everything. I don't know how they do it. That's above my deal too. But I mean,
Yeah, but
I wouldn't be thrilled about having, if I had to go, I wouldn't be thrilled about it. But it's just, you know, you're still just going to fly down, fly back, fly down, run the race, fly back. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference where you go, but it is going to be costly for the teams.
I want to stay in your lane. Okay, you're a world racer. You've gone to Australia, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about your. We're talking about why does NASCAR? Why do they have interest in going to Canada? Why? There's big. It sounds to me like they're going to go to Europe in the coming years. So they're covering the borders. So we know we race in Canada. We raced up there at Circuit Jacques Villeneuve. That's a mouthful. What a great name, though. Circuit Jacques Villeneuve. And then we go down to Mexico. That's easy. It's just right across the border. What made you go to Australia? Tell me about your world travels. Open wheel, NASCAR. What did you do?
It was at, was it Calder Park? I think they did it like 4 years. It was like a duplicate of Charlotte, kind of similar. And
Yeah.
a bunch of guys. Neil Bonnet won it for the year we were over there. We run second. Labonte won it. It was off season. I think it was December or late November. It was after our season was over, and it was just a place to go race. So I went and raced, and they called up the car owner called up, and he had bought 2 cars from Junior Johnson. He'd bought a front steer Laughlin and a rear steer Banjo. We get over there and say, "Which one do you want?" And I said, "Well, you're paying me to come and drive, so you take whatever one you want." And we had a great time running second.
You bring up a good point. You probably don't even realize what you said, but I caught on to it. It seems like most racers throughout the world look at the United States. Everybody from Australia, whether it's dirt or asphalt, they're always buying race cars from America. Does Australia, do they? I mean, I think they look up to Americans, whether it's dirt racing, asphalt. What was your experience down there? Do they love American racing since they always buy our race cars?
Well, I think we do it so much more. We're probably a little bit ahead of the curve as far as some technology and what some of the equipment we got. So, I mean, they love their racing down there, but the big 1.5 miles is closed and has been for a number of years. So that didn't work down there. But boy, they race their butts off with the midgets and the sprint cars and late miles and stuff.
Yeah, they it's funny, Kenny. I mentioned this when the Chili Bowl's over, like the next day, like Sunday, I would go to the Tulsa airport because at that time I lived in North Carolina, and I would see Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, and I'm sure you did it. They take the seats out of their open wheel midgets and they take them to the airport with them, and they check their seats in. And then they get over there to where they going to New Zealand, Australia, and then they bolt their seats in those race cars.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some guys do that. Some guys, a lot of them, times have got a little easier. You can send a seat.
Yes, I agree.
They used to go on a lot. You had a helmet bag and a seat.
Yeah, and just check it right through baggage claim. So, okay, I want to end this by saying I've raced at Hermano Rodriguez with the Xfinity Series 2 times. Had a wonderful time, made us feel good because it was like, the Latinos, they're looking at us like, whoa. And I mean, they packed that place. It was fun. And, they celebrate down there with horns and whistles, and you be coming to green flag, and of course you got to go like 2 miles to get around the start finish line. And they love it. So I think it's going to be a good time. Really high elevation. You're up like at 9,000 feet. So yeah, NASCAR will tell all the crew members, make sure you hydrate because you won't feel it. And then all of a sudden, you'll be messed up. So when they go over there, you're at like 10,000 feet, Mexico City. And that was my experience. You get in the driver's meeting and they're like, okay, just so you all know, make sure everybody just drinks all the time. So fluids. Yeah, not liquor.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Kenny, the other scheduled deal, which is really close to home for us, and this one kind of went, and it was on the radar, but nobody talked about it, was September 7th next year in the playoffs. That's key. The Worldwide Technology Raceway is coming to St. Louis. Pretty big deal for you and I, don't you think? Because that's a game changer race.
Yeah, I mean, it's first off, it was big Gateway getting a race, and what's it been 2 years now that they've had a race, and
Yeah.
to wind up with a playoff race in the playoffs is neat. So, but the race was very well supported, very well attended, so it deserves it. We'll see what happens, and I think NASCAR moving some of these dates around is probably a good thing. Just mix it up a little bit. We did, I mean, back when I started, or when you were there before I was, yeah, you didn't need to look at the schedule. You just need to know when the first race was, because you knew what was coming afterwards. And it was the same for years. But I like mixing it up, going different places, sometimes different times of the year. So many of our places we go, though, you can only go a certain time of year. We was with Bill
Yeah.
Jr. when they were announcing, we were out of Kansas City when they were announcing when they thought they'd run that race. And he said, I thought we'd come out here in March. I said, oh, no, that won't work, and then you can only go, you don't want to go to Phoenix in June, and it's different things. I mean, you're kind of limited where you're going just because our season is so long at where you're going at what time of the year.
And I also feel that this is good for the fans. And some of the drivers say, look, we do not want the same races, same racetracks in the playoffs. I agree with you on that. So here we are. It seems like every year there's a schedule change to change these racetracks up. Kenny, the big story for the playoffs is that as long as we go to Phoenix, Penske's going to win the championship. That's what they're saying, because, here or there, right? But still, this changes it up. This track.
They've won it the last 2 years at Phoenix, or last 3 years at Phoenix.
Yeah. Penske has dominated the last 3 years.
Kyle won it the year before, I think, at Phoenix.
Yeah, right.
And
it's been
Ryan was leading when he ran.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So almost a little bit, no matter where in the hell we go, a Henry car or a Gibbs car or a Penske car going to have a good chance.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how it's like, I'm not saying you and I, because we're perfect, but I mean, it's funny how everybody wants to look for the black helicopters. Oh, they're doing this because Roger Penske talked to Jim France and they're favoring Penske. I mean, it is comical and a little bit of a show. Okay, what's it going to be now? What's the theory going to be now? Oh, NASCAR's kissing Rick Hendrick's butt, and I think it's gone on since time, right?
Can I tell you my joke now?
Yes. Okay, race fans, Kenny Schrader got 3 hours of sleep last night.
And I'm not a joke teller.
This must be good.
These 3 guys, Christmas Eve, get pulled over 75 and a 55, way too fast. The officer comes up the door, talks to him. Nobody's drinking. Everybody's good. He says, "Hey, you need to slow down. But each one of you, show me something represents Christmas." First one pulled his keys out and jiggled his keys. And he said, "That's Jingle Bells." The second one took his phone on and turned the light on and kept moving it back and forth. He says, "That's Christmas lights." He said, "Okay." Well, the driver didn't really think anything, and he reached over real quick to the glove compartment, and he pulled out a pair of little ladies' panties. And the officer's like, "Now, what does that have to do with Christmas?" He looked right at him and said, "They're carols."
Best one.
Yeah.
Best one of Herman Schrader, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's excellent. That's dirty funny. A nun would laugh at that. A nun would laugh at that. Okay, you say that I'm more screwed up than you, but I just want everybody to know that he wanted to tell that Kenny Schrader wanted to tell that joke so bad that you could not wait till the end of the show.
I couldn't wait. Want to tell.
I love it. That makes me happy. Oh my God, that's awesome. Okay. Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
We have a reset here, everybody. Tell me about why did you only get 3 hours of sleep last night? When did you leave, Kenny?
This place opens up. S&S, they start working at 6.
Mm.
And they open it up 4. And Jeff, the owner, gets here at 5. And I stayed an hour down the road, and I pulled in there, so I need to get up at 3:30 to be here by 5.
Wow.
Showered and everything. So it's good. No problem.
You're tough. Why do I think you're lying? I think you're tired.
I'm okay. I sleep tonight.
Yeah. Okay. The last NASCAR hot topic, and we get all these from the people. We don't dream them up. Pit road speed, Kenny. Pit road speed. We have watched. Let me set you up. We have watched the Brickyard 400. We've watched people leading that race. Juan Pablo Montoya is going to win the Brickyard 400. He's leading. He leads pit road. The famous phrase, the famous quote from Juan Pablo. "I swear to NASCAR, I was not speeding," pleading his case. Races have been lost by speeding on pit road. So that begs the question, and I know that you and I know, why do we have pit road speed? And, we know that we lost some crew members' lives. This is no joke. We've lost some crew members because back in our day, we'd come down pit road 200 mile an hour, just as long as you get stopped in that pit box. And after we lost some crew members. So, Kenny, I remember you being in the Daytona 500. And remember when we first started odds and evens? Like they really didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, they've tried a lot of different things, but they were just trying to ease the cluster of back then 43 cars getting on pit road at the same time.
What a sight. My gosh.
So anyway, we've had a lot of different things, but the reason we got pit road speed is the same reason that instead of just having stock cars anymore, we have specially built cars with roll cages and fancy seats and really good helmets and really good harnesses and good fire bottles that go off, and Hans device or whatever to help tether your neck, your head. We have it because of all those things. It goes in that same category. We got smarter, and we learned, and we took a big potential danger every time a car came down pit road. We eliminated a lot of it. A lot of it. When you're standing on the interstate or off to the side, not that I stand off to the side a lot, but we've all had to pull over times. And when cars go by you, say at 55 mile an hour, that's still really fast. And when they're running 55 mile an hour, potentially 4 pits up from where you're pitted or where they're going to stop, that's still real fast. But it's a lot easier to be under control. So it's just a safety measure that's just evolved just like all the other stuff.
Yeah. Well said. I really like, because we've all had to change a tire, and we can't choose where we change the tires a lot of times. And boy, there's nothing that gets my attention more than changing a tire on the interstate, and a tractor trailer just goes by and just blows your whole car and wiggles it. And gosh, yeah. Well, you and I were part of those days, and it was scary. And I'm not making light of this whatsoever, but it is amazing when we look back and go, "My God, were we dumb?" Ricky Craven said it best. He said, "One day we'll look back and how barbaric it is for us we run right into concrete walls." And I looked at Ricky Craven. I said, I guess we got to contain our vehicles, but you're right.
The safer barrier, from everything I've always been told, absorbs about a third of the energy.
Yeah.
I know the first time with the safer barrier and the Hans device, smoked down in turn 3 at Dover and blew a right front tire. So we know what that's like,
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, I've been down this road. This is not good. So you're headed up towards it, and you just kind of brace up, and that thing hit, and it was like,
Yeah.
get another car out, boys. We're okay. So just get another car out, because it was a big deal, but it was nothing. It was 2/3 of what it used to be.
Yeah. And I know NASCAR listens to the show, so hello NASCAR. But there's been times I went down the back straightaway at Dover, blew that tire before I was letting off. I mean, headed down in the 3, and I'm like, oh gosh, and went to the infield care center, and they're like, "Kenny, are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." In the meantime, I look at their clock in the infield care center, and I see 3 12s, 3 1s, 3 2, and I'm like, I know we all did that. But yeah, when we hit those concrete walls back then, you knew it. But I will say that those walls now, they're softer, they're better. But yeah,
they're safer barriers.
They're safe. Yeah, safe. They're safer barriers. That's awesome.
Safer barriers.
Yeah. So for all you dirt racers that have changed seats, whether you got a Randy LaJoy seat, I think I can't believe when we look back and go, show me that seat you ran 30 years ago. It's like, what? Okay, so we're going to switch to dirt racing right now. Everybody take a deep breath. On that note, let me drink my coffee. We're going to dirt racing. I want to start right there. You and I got some good topics for dirt racing, but do you think when we build a dirt car that most people forget about the seat? Like we're always worried about our dirt cars being fast, and later on it's like, oh, I got to drive it, got to put the seat in. And Nick Hoffman just got done telling me last week. I said, "What are you doing, Nick?" He said, "Well, this man thought he was going to buy a framing cage and just put it together. And the guy realized he couldn't piece his Elite back together. So he said, Kenny, you can't believe the way this guy was going to try to mount this seat. Like 60 aluminum. Kenny, you and I can bend it with our hands. This man was going to attach the back of his seat to the roll cage with 60 aluminum and 1/4-inch bolts. I think crew members and drivers forget about the seat. Have you ever forgot about your seat?
No, I haven't forgot about the seat. I did step on one of my seats one time, and it broke, and I was so aggravated because it was my favorite seat, but that's when they were fiberglass. You know, it was just a little bucket, just a button covered.
Oh my God.
But no, and I think somebody that has done phenomenal bringing safety and making the industry more aware is Randy LaJoy with his
100%.
speeds and what he's went out all over the country, just walked up to cars and say, "Hey guys, we need to do this,"
Yeah.
So, no, I don't think it's still. People don't think that they're going to. It's perceived as being slower and not as dangerous, but it's the stops that gets you.
Speaking of Randy LaJoy, shout out to him because he does have a simple test, and you will remember this when I bring it up right now. He when he's at a local racetrack or any track, he goes to each car and he grabs where the shoulder area is, not up by the head restraint. He grabs by the shoulder and he wiggles the seat. And if the seat wiggles, well, think about what it will do when it wrecks. So if the seat wiggles, like it's boys, your seat is not bolting in good enough. So good shout out, Kenny, to Randy LaJoy. Okay, that whole safety thing that started with NASCAR pit road speed, and we ventured right into safety. There's man, we've come a long way. All right, we are in dirt racing right now, everyone. We are leaving the NASCAR hot topics, and God knows we covered them. So the biggest story in dirt racing right now, and Charlie Marlowe, Charlie edits all this up for Dirty Mo Media. Charlie, make sure you edit this piece because we're going to air this piece in our teases. The biggest story in dirt racing right now, it's all over social media, is you're looking at him, everybody. Kenny Schrader and his partner, Ray Marlar, their wives, Ann, Sue Marlar, for the past 30 years, and this is kind of my tribute celebration. Kenny Schrader and Ray Marlar have owned Federated I-55 Raceway for 30 years. Without this racetrack, there's no way NASCAR, look at all those NASCAR nights you had there. You brought in Dale Jr. You brought in the greats. I-55 dirt track has done a lot. I think you've helped the sport immensely. But you just announced that you have sold the racetrack. I just wanted to give everybody a look inside. You've had the World of Outlaws there. This racetrack has done so much and brought so many people.
Yeah.
Why? Tell everybody why you decided to move forward.
Well, my partner, Ray Marla, who has so much desire and determination and works his butt off, but he's worked his butt off for 30 years. And he's 86 years old now. Ray has done, Ray and Sue have run the track. I talk to him a couple times a day, every day, most of the time, always in the summer. But I haven't run it. They've run it. It's just time. And we had opportunity, young man, Josh Carroll, who runs another track, Brownstown, Illinois, Brownstown Bull Ring Caught in Brownstown, Illinois. He runs that track. Approached us about maybe doing something with us. And he's a lot younger, He's got a lot of enthusiasm, got a lot of want to. He's done a great job at Brownstown. His family used to own Godfrey Speedway right there in St. Louis. Did you know that?
I did not know. You just surprised
Yeah,
me. Wow. Okay.
they owned owned Godfrey. He's been around it forever, and so we're in the process where when they open up next year, he's going to be the owner. So it's just time, and we felt we were leaving it in really good hands.
I would never speak for you, but you and I have talked in the past, and one thing I've learned is that you and Ray and the families, you love racing so much that you wanted to make sure who you sold it to.
That's like when Eldora sold. Now we are, we're a miniature Eldora, nothing like that scale, but it's a pretty sporty little place, and we were. I mean, I know Earl was thrilled and happy that Tony was getting it because
Yeah.
we'd carry on with improvements. So
Yeah.
we're excited about it.
So Josh Carroll will be the new owner, and you're excited, and Ray, you are all excited because you feel you're selling it to the right person, and they're going to keep the legendary status that you and Ray start. You're going to keep it going.
Yep. We feel we're in good hands.
Fantastic, and to me, it's a little emotional for me just for the fact that the whole time I was in Charlotte racing NASCAR, I knew that your racetrack was like a religion. I mean,
all those tracks are, but I mean, all those tracks are. Everybody's local track is the most important track there is there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I will never forget, you bringing the World of Outlaw sprint cars in there and been so successful. Still running 2 nights. You bring in the Summer Nationals. You bring in Mars. So, although, now this is my opinion. Now I'm going to brag on you. And it's not going to be long. I'm just going to say, you've handed over a diamond in the rough. You've given Josh Carroll a diamond. You got all the great dates.
Josh a lot of headaches. Hopefully he has fun like we did. All right, next topic.
All right, he's tired of talking about himself, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, another neat little story in dirt racing is yours truly, Kenny Wallace. My dear friend Kenny Schrader knows everything because I always tell him pretty much first. Anything that's a secret, I tell my wife first, and then Kenny Schrader. And,
you're telling her before you tell me?
Oh, darn.
I did notice your coffee cup.
Yeah. So, Jegs is with me. They're with me all the time. Jegs is going to be an associate sponsor on the dirt car. However, my friend Fred McConnell, senior executive to marketing, we talk a lot. And I've been running that Sunoco Blue 112, and I know you do too.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I have been running Sunoco for years.
Yeah.
It's just great fuel. So Fred and everybody at Sunoco, they're going to sponsor my dirt car. And yes, I'm going to wear the Sunoco fire suit. Jegs will be a small associate. But Jegs said to me, Herman, we just want to do the YouTube show. And I said, well, okay, let me go to work. So I'm very thankful, Kenny. I am jealous of you that you've had Federated. How many years have you had Federated? We just talked about this.
This will be 26.
Wow. That's incredible. And I've had Jegs all the time, but they go back and forth. There's no sugarcoating the truth. I love Jegs. They're either an associate, full-time, and it just has to do, we make it work. But I'm super excited to have Sunoco as the full colors, and they're going to sponsor Coffee with Kenny. So that is some news. And I will be driving Nick Hoffman's car at Volusia. I'm excited about that. It makes it easier on me. And
because you won't hire him. Oh, never mind. We've talked about that before. Go ahead.
That was a good. That was a good one. That was good therapy for me. Why does Kenny Wallace brag that he does everything himself? Got that off my chest last week. Okay. We talked about Kenny Schrader and Ray Marler selling their racetrack. Now you all heard it from the horse's mouth. We've seen your quotes, and this is probably the first one. That's you said it, and that's awesome. We talked about the Sunoco sponsorship with me, and now it's time to go dirt racing, Kenny. And they are still racing dirt. $100,000 to win the crate cars at Alltech.
Weaver won it, right?
Can you believe that? He's like you and I. Randy Weaver goes to Eldora for the World 100 of the Dream, and he's the pit road reporter. Randy Weaver is the Flow Racing pit road reporter. Now, I want you to talk about this, but I just got to say this is awesome. The pit road reporter, Randy Weaver, goes to Alltech for the crate late models. And Michael Brown runs second, Mason Ziegler third. But listen who Randy outrun. Fourth was Brandon Overton, Tyler Erb's in there. As you would say, not all the big boys were there, but Randy Weaver's just not a pit road reporter, is he, Kenny?
Oh, he never has been. He's always been one of the best there is, and has always run good. So I was excited to see that for him.
Is that sometimes, we saw it with Ned Jarrett. We saw Benny Parsons start it. We saw Neil Bonnet really make it okay. Then Rusty Wallace, Dale Jarrett, yourself, you, Johnny Benson, Michael Waltrip. This era came in where the real race car drivers were validating the sport.
Well, we got Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick.
Yeah,
just so many. Boyer, but Boyer likes to talk, so we knew he'd be good at it. But just they know what they're talking about. Dale Jr. Oh my gosh, that's like listening to Dale Jr. I think he does a great job because his genuine enthusiasm comes through. But Weaver has been really good when he does those flow races.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that is. I'm not saying it's a phenomenon. It's been going on for a long time, but it seems like, hey, you love your sport. Maybe you're not racing this weekend. You're not going to demean yourself. You're still big time. You're still a racer, but would you come over here and be on the broadcast? And I think Randy Weaver has made that okay for dirt racing. I just think it's pretty. Once again, Randy Weaver reminds everybody what we all just talked about. And I saw that phenomenon start years and years ago, but like you just reminded everybody, Jeff Burton, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., Darrell Waltrip. It is the new thing. And if we can get a real race car driver to talk about the sport, that's got to be a bonus, right, Kenny?
Yeah. You like to talk. You should do it.
Why did I do that? They called me. Patty Wheeler called me and said, Kenny, would you do speed? And I said no at first, and that's a whole nother story. But I do like talking. I do like hearing myself. I do seek attention.
Just like hearing myself talk.
Hey, the truth will set you free.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. I got to admit something that will make me feel better. Kenny Schrader, I have some of the great late model racers. They call me up. Would you please put me on Kenny Conversation? It's not like I call these people anymore. So I think the jig is up. You made it famous, you and Michael and Johnny Benson. You guys were on Inside Nextel Cup. There's nothing wrong with promoting yourself because your sponsor is tied to that. So a lot of these racers are calling me. Would you put me on Kenny Conversation? So, just putting the Randy Weaver deal to bed. It is good for you, racers. Your sponsors like it. Okay. We're going to go into an area uh, that is pretty cool. People come up to you and me. They come up to Bobby Pierce. They go up to Brandon Overton. They go up to Jonathan Davenport. They go up to all the NASCAR racers. And they say, how did you become a race car driver? My kid is 8 years old. He's won 14 championships, and he just needs a break. So, Kenny, I was at dinner on this cruise ship, and this waiter, my wife passed out T-shirts to our group. And this guy says, are you a Formula One driver? I said, oh, no. I said, I raced NASCAR for a living my whole life. And it was the waiter that made me think about this segment. He looked at me and he said, that's amazing that you raced a car for a living. And it made me think of you when you were on Inside Next Hook Up. You say, Mikey, we've milked this a long time. So Kenny Schrader, I'm not saying a long story, but how did you make it to NASCAR?
We just got lucky. I mean, and anybody, you need a little luck. But we were running that Ford dirt car for Don Hank King from Missouri. And we started buying Roush engines at the same time. Roush started doing our engines at the same time Ford came out with their SVO, Special Vehicle Operations or something. And I met Lee Morris and Michael Kranofis. And they helped me a ton. We had a little deal working that kind of fell through, where I was going to run some ASA, and it fell through. And they got me in Elmo Langley's car for 5 races in '84, and we didn't hit nothing, and we finished, and that was enough at the time. Elmo was happy, and we got hired the next year by Mr. Donlevy. So, I mean, it unless you just buy your way in now, and we had to bring money to run the first 3 races. Seemed like a fortune. It was $3,000 a race and a set of tires.
Listen up, kids.
Now the RRs, depending on the race, and 100 and a quarter to go to Daytona. And we had a very good friend from Oklahoma, Mr. Hill, and then Mr. Delrose, Timmy Delrose, helped me with those races, and then we wound up getting hired. But we got hired for 85, then moved down to 86, then August 86, because I wanted to make sure they weren't going to send me home first before we moved down.
As you're telling this story, I want to fill in a pretty cool story. So in 1984, I'm a crew chief. I start out as a car chief. 1984, I'm not even a race car driver. And Kim and I are not even married, and we're living in apartment complex. And
you were married and we're living together?
Oh my God, I just realized we were living in sin, weren't we? I kept my hands off of her. No.
Okay. Must have been a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. And this is what I want all of you to know, everybody, about Schrader. He will keep you honest. Here, I thought I'm just, we're not married, and Schrader's like, you reminded me, yes.
Right.
The Lord forgave us, that's for sure. So in 1984, we're living in this little 2-bedroom apartment up there in Charlotte, and I hear a knock on the door. I open the door, and I'm staring at Kenny Schrader and Ernie Jumpert, one of your best friends in life. I know you got some really dear friends, but at that time, tell me about that moment. What were you? I guess Elmo Langley's shop was right around the corner from my apartment.
Remember if we called you? I don't even remember when it was. Must have been an off time, midweek or something. I don't remember what we were doing down there, but it was pretty neat. We all went out to dinner.
Yeah. I do want to say for everybody that's listening, Kenny Schrader's never going to talk like this. We're kind of opposites attract. we're the odd couple. But I want all of you to know, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. Kenny had nothing. I had nothing. And somehow we made it. You know why? Because like Dick Trickle says, you gotta wanna. You gotta want it. And you wanted it, Kenny. And so did I.
Well, I really wanted not to get up on Mondays and go to work. What I really wanted. I'm still
Yeah.
like that.
So, okay. So as far as me, that waiter on that cruise ship, he said, "You race cars for a living? That's amazing." And it made me laugh because I just thought it really is. I can't believe I've been able to race for a living. So I'm going to do like Kenny did. I'm going to give you my short version. I grew up in a racing family. We raced for a hobby. Like Kenny, his dad was Bill Schrader. My dad was Russ Wallace. They kind of raced at the same racetrack, Lake Hill Speedway. So I kind of grew up in this. My family raced for a hobby. We definitely didn't race. Oh, Kenny, that's another story for another day. You and my dad. See, I'm already getting sideways. Stay your lane, Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace, don't talk about that. We'll save that story for another day. But so we're all racing together, Schraders, Wallaces, Siffords, you name it, Tom Hannock. And time rolls on, and I get Rusty and Mike. I take care of them. I'm the fabricator, mechanic, crew chief. 22 years old. I finally moved. I'm a crew chief down in North Carolina, and I moved back to St. Louis because John Childs said that he would buy my frame and cage. John Childs is my Don and Hank Siva King. So John Childs gave me just enough money to make me work for the rest of it. So Kim, my wife, worked at a cafeteria. She bought my $2,500. Remember those Dillon trailers, Kenny?
Oh, yeah.
To this day, one of the greatest trailers. Do you still have your Dillon trailer?
No, it was no. I saw Ray 2 years ago and asked him how long it was under warranty. And it's been fixed. Friends got it. It's been fixed and repainted. It looks great. But they were neat trailers.
So
did you buy it from Ray or did you buy it from your brother?
I bought it from Ray. It was $2,500 brand new. And we towed that thing all those ASA races, and of course they were always in Cayuga, Canada. And so anyway, John Childs, he sponsored a local guy named Lynn Gittemeyer. Childs Tire on Lynn Gittemeyer. Then John helped Rusty out. And John always had enough money to get us in trouble. And then, yeah, and you're like, because you know the truth. So then Don Kern, we lost Don. I think they're all gone now. I think his wife is alive. But Don said, Kenny, I'll give you a motor to use, but you got to give me a third of what you make. So if I won $1,000, I had to give Don $300. I couldn't imagine, Kenny, spending $20,000 for a motor. Like, where do you get that kind of money?
Yeah, well, they weren't 20 back then.
What were they, you think?
I think about 10, 12.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but
imagine.
Any difference? We didn't have it.
Yeah.
So
my story's like Kenny's. Obviously, I had John Childs bought my frame and cage. And then what I did is I was with Rusty all the time. And I met Phil Homer from Goodyear. And then I met the MSD ignition guy. Then I met the Pro Shock guy. And you know me, I called them all up and I said, man, can I have one ignition box? Can I have 4 shocks? And just like that song, I got it one piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. Remember that song?
Yeah.
And I put that car together, and the rest is history. And there's a lot of stories for both of us in between. But listen up, everybody. That waiter on that cruise ship brought up good content. You know how Kenny Schrader kind of got his break. You know how I kind of got my break. And there's way more. And we did have it hard, so I don't want to hear it. All right. We were lucky is right. Current affairs. We got some good juice. So right now, it's those flying drones going across New York, New Jersey. And boy, they say this is serious stuff and that we're all trying to make fun of it, but they're flying all these drones at night. And the only reason you fly a drone at night is for theatrical reasons, but they're looking for something. And it sounds scary to me. We'll just keep on going with our life, but still, what is your thoughts on the drone drama?
I think that they know what the hell they are. Otherwise, they've done something to find out. So they know what the hell they are.
Wow, that was short and sweet. And I agree with you. Yeah, they just, federal government not going to let everybody invade their airspace. They had to shut down an airport runway, Kenny, on like Friday because the drone was above the airport runway. So it's not funny anymore. At first it was funny and it was a joke. Now it's like, okay, what's up? I hope nothing. I pray there's no tragedy. And I pray that our federal government finds what they're looking for. I just can't imagine our federal government let drones fly around for the hell of it at night, you know. So, okay. Taylor Swift. Yep. that was a 180, everybody. For everybody on Dirty Mo Media Podcast, you should have seen Schrader's face. Current affairs. Taylor Swift's tour made $2 billion, broke the concert.
Made or grossed?
Grossed.
Okay.
There's that math going on in his head. And
well,
keep
it's a big difference.
It is. Yeah, I get it. Gross or net. I get it. Okay. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour grossed $2 billion, broke the concert touring attendance record by double. So let's say U2 had the biggest concert ever, you know, at $1 billion. Well, she just did $2 billion. But okay, now I'm setting you up. This is why we brought it up. Taylor Swift gave $197 million in bonuses. And so us redneck dirt racers can understand it. Taylor Swift gave her tractor trailer drivers and her crew members $197 million bonus. Now, I don't know how many people do it, but what's your opinion on that?
It's a little less than a 10% tip.
Okay, go ahead.
No, that's what it is. 200 million would be 10%.
So she grossed $2 billion. She gave basically $200 million. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
It's great. I don't know anything about, I don't know anything about Taylor Swift. I wouldn't drive across town to see a concert, period.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care about concerts, but yeah. I mean, everything I've read, she's, you know, really takes care of people. And I think that's fantastic. And that's a lot of money, but you know, in reality, it's 10%.
Yeah. And listen, everybody, I know exactly what you're thinking. You're going to go into politics right away, and we're not going there. So I don't want to hear it, okay? All I can tell you is this.
Well, we can't hear anybody, so it's okay.
Yeah, we're not reading. No, we are. We see everything you put out there, everybody, so thank you.
You do.
But, yeah, stop it, Kenny. I'm not even going to go there.
Okay.
But you're not a dummy. Let's put it that way. You're not a dummy. You see what's up. So Taylor Swift has changed the global economy, and that's just true. But she didn't change anybody's minds. That's for sure. And that's all I'll say right there. Okay. All right. The other one, and this is pretty good. And this will end current affairs. We have 3. Caitlin Clark. She is the Indiana WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association, or something like that. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. She won the Time Magazine Athlete of the Year, and the owner of the Washington Mystics, she came out against it, jealous. She said there are other players and all of WNBA. What I thought she said was so dumb that it was like, what? She said all of WNBA should deserve the Time Magazine Athlete of the Year. I'm like, what? So her competitors and her own teammates are jealous of her. They're jealous of Caitlin Clark bringing all these people, all these eyes, all these record ratings to the WNBA. So my question to you is this. Sure seems like Caitlin Clark put a lot of eyeballs on the WNBA. Why would people be mad at her, or why would they be jealous of her? What's your take?
Oh man, I can't tell you how people think, but what did Jeff Gordon? Okay, a lot of people come in. I mean, your brother broke into NASCAR, the Cup Series, and he won the Rookie of the Year, and he, like won Rookie in '84, and he won championship '89, right? '89, yeah.
Right.
So 5 years he got it done. But Jeff, I think, was 3 years. I think it was 3 years, and he kind of boom exploded. It was a big deal. Jeff. I don't follow golf, but what did Tiger Woods do for golf?
Good point.
I mean, one person, they're not going to make or break a sport, but they can sure spike the popularity at times.
Yeah, and what's crazy, Kenny, is there was nobody at these games. It's just a fact. They got videos and they got attendance out there. I mean, nobody paid attention to the WNBA except a select few. And to this day, right now, even with Caitlin Clark, they are losing $40 to $44 million per year. And I just don't understand why these people would be so jealous of her. You know what, though? I would say this, and I'm gonna speak being honest here. I was a little jealous. I wished I was Jeff Gordon, but I bet there's a lot of drivers that wished they were Jeff Gordon. But Jeff Gordon made our sport way more popular because he was the clean kid going up against Redneck Dale Sr. with the cowboy boots and the mustache. You bring up a good point. You brought up great points.
Well, just one person can make a difference.
And Caitlin Clark has made that difference, everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
More power to her.
All right, everybody. Kenny Schrader, when are you coming back home?
When they get
ever?
Yes. When they get done, I'll hustle on home because this weekend, Friday, is my son's birthday, and he's coming in Friday. And Saturday, the daughter Dorothy and her husband Grant and little grandson Ford are coming in. So we're going to have a big weekend around the house.
Fantastic, and happy birthday to Sheldon. Haven't seen Sheldon in a while. And your daughter Dorothy. I always thought Dorothy was going to be president of the United States. She just seems very intelligent lady. I know how proud you guys are of them.
Well, we're always proud of your kids.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Herman Schrader, we just keep on rolling, and we really appreciate you all. And, Kenny, listen, we are thankful.
And if you watch this, we feel for you. It had to be painful.
Well, once Charlie edits it all up, we'll be all right.
Okay.
Until the next Herman Schrader show, we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.